Welcome back! We are talking about money, and honestly, it's something we deal with every single day. I've been trying to save up more lately, but it's not that easy when expenses keep showing up. Sometimes, I feel like I just run out of money too quickly. Do you ever feel that way? Like you stick to a budget, but something unexpected comes and you have to pay for it anyway. I also notice that people often spend money on things they don't really need, and then regret it later. I'm trying to be more careful and cut down on unnecessary spending.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like no matter how hard you try to put money aside, something always pops up. One thing that helped me was learning how to live within my means. Before, I used to blow money on random stuff, especially online shopping. Now, I try to keep track of every expense and set aside a fixed amount each month. It's not perfect, but at least I don't feel like I'm constantly short of cash anymore. Also, I've started to look for ways to make extra money, like freelancing.
That's smart. I think many people don't realize how important it is to manage money wisely. For example, instead of just spending, we should think about how to make money work for us. Have you ever tried investing? I've been reading about how people put money into stocks or businesses and then earn a return over time. It sounds interesting, but also a bit risky. I don't want to just throw money away without understanding what I'm doing. At the same time, I know keeping money idle isn't always the best idea either.
Exactly. Investing can be powerful, but you need to do your research first. I once made the mistake of trying to get rich quick, and I ended up losing money. That taught me a lot. Now, I prefer safer ways, like building up savings and slowly growing my income. Another thing is avoiding debt. It's easy to take out a loan, but hard to pay it back. Many people get trapped because they can't keep up with payments, and then interest makes everything worse.
Debt is definitely something to be careful about. I always try to stay out of debt, even if it means delaying some purchases. I think it's better to save money for something instead of buying it immediately and then worrying about payments. Also, I've been learning how to prioritize expenses. For example, rent and food come first, and then everything else. It helps me stay in control of my finances and not feel stressed all the time.
Another thing I've been thinking about is how people earn money in different ways. Some people work a regular job, while others try to start a business. I've always wondered if it's better to work for someone or to work for yourself. On one hand, a stable job helps you bring in a steady income. But on the other hand, a business might help you make more money in the long run. But it also comes with risks, right?
Definitely. When you run your own business, you have more freedom, but also more responsibility. You need to deal with expenses, pay employees, and sometimes face financial losses. I think the key is to build up skills and not depend on just one source of income. Many people now try to diversify their income streams, so even if one thing fails, they still have other ways to bring in money. It's a safer approach in today's world.
That makes sense. I've also noticed that mindset plays a big role. Some people are always worried about money, while others are more confident and try to take financial risks. But I think there should be a balance. You shouldn't be afraid to spend money on important things like education, but you also shouldn't just waste money on things that don't add value. It's all about making smart decisions and thinking long term.
Exactly. It's about being intentional. For example, instead of just spending, I try to invest in myself. That means buying books, taking courses, or learning new skills that can help me increase my income later. It's not just about saving every coin, but about using money to create opportunities. Also, I've learned to avoid impulse buying, because that's where a lot of money disappears without you even noticing.
Impulse buying is a big problem, especially with online shopping. It's so easy to just click and pay for something instantly. That's why I started to think twice before buying anything. Sometimes I even wait a few days, and if I still want it, then I consider buying it. This simple habit helped me cut back on spending a lot. It's amazing how small changes can help you save a lot of money over time.
Let's talk about saving strategies. I've heard about the idea of paying yourself first, where you automatically put aside money as soon as you get paid. It sounds like a good way to build up savings without thinking too much. Have you tried that? I feel like if I don't do it immediately, I just end up spending everything, and then I have nothing left to save.
Yes, that's actually one of the best habits. When you set money aside first, you're basically forcing yourself to live on the remaining amount. Over time, it becomes natural. Another useful method is to break down your expenses and see where your money goes. Once you understand that, you can cut out unnecessary costs and manage your budget better. It's all about awareness and discipline.
Discipline is key. Without it, even a high income won't help. I've seen people who earn a lot of money but still struggle because they don't know how to handle their finances. On the other hand, some people earn less but still manage to save money regularly and live comfortably. It really shows that money management is more important than just income.
That's so true. Also, we shouldn't forget about long-term goals. It's important to plan for the future and not just focus on today. Whether it's buying a house, traveling, or retirement, you need to set financial goals and work towards them step by step. Otherwise, it's easy to just spend everything and end up with nothing later.
Yeah, money is a tool. It should help us build a better life, not cause stress. If we learn how to use money wisely, save consistently, and spend responsibly, we can feel more secure and confident. I think the goal is not just to make money, but to understand how to manage it effectively and make it work for us.
Lately, I've been thinking about how people deal with financial pressure, especially when their income isn't stable. Imagine you suddenly lose your source of income. That's when things get real. I guess that's why having an emergency fund is so important. It helps you fall back on savings instead of panicking. I've started to build a financial cushion, even if it's small. At least I know I won't immediately end up broke if something unexpected happens.
That's a solid move. Many people ignore that until it's too late. I also think it's important to plan ahead financially, not just react. For example, instead of waiting for bills, I try to allocate money in advance for things like utilities, rent, and groceries. It makes everything more predictable. Also, I've learned to keep some money in reserve, just in case. It gives you peace of mind and helps you stay afloat during tough times.
True, peace of mind is underrated. Another thing I've noticed is how social pressure can make people keep up with others financially. People try to show off wealth, even if they can't really afford it. They might go into debt for appearances, which honestly doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather live modestly and feel secure than try to impress others and constantly worry about money.
Exactly. That's a trap. People often live beyond their means just to maintain an image. Social media makes it worse because everyone seems to be doing well financially. But in reality, many are just trying to cover up financial struggles. That's why it's important to stay focused on your own path and not compare yourself. Financial stability is more important than looking rich.
I agree. I think one of the best things you can do is to develop healthy money habits early. Things like tracking expenses, avoiding unnecessary debt, and making thoughtful decisions. Over time, these habits really add up and make a big difference. It's not about becoming rich overnight, but about being consistent and staying disciplined.
There's also the idea of financial independence, which I find really interesting. Some people aim to become financially free, meaning they don't have to rely on a job anymore. They usually try to generate passive income, like renting property or earning from investments. It sounds like a dream, but I know it takes years of planning and effort to actually reach that level.
Yeah, financial independence is a long-term goal. To get there, people often try to reduce their expenses and increase their income at the same time. It's not easy, but it's possible with discipline. Also, they focus on assets that can bring in money regularly, instead of just working for a salary. It's about changing how you think about money and how you use it.
That shift in mindset is powerful. Instead of just earning and spending, you start to think strategically about money. For example, instead of buying something that loses value, you might choose something that can hold its value or even grow. It's a different way of looking at things. I'm trying to slowly move in that direction, even if it's just small steps.
Small steps are the key. You don't need to do everything at once. Just start by making better decisions and staying consistent. Over time, you'll build wealth gradually. Also, it's important to stay patient and not expect instant results. Many people give up because they don't see quick progress, but financial growth usually takes time.
Yeah, patience really matters here. If you can stay disciplined, make smart choices, and keep learning, you'll eventually get better at managing money. It's not about perfection, but about progress. And honestly, even small improvements can lead to big results in the long run.
Another thing I've been thinking about is how easy it is to fall into financial habits without noticing. For example, subscriptions. People sign up for services and then forget about them, but those small payments really add up over time. I recently checked my bank account and realized I was still paying for things I don't even use. So I decided to cancel unnecessary subscriptions and free up some money. It's surprising how much you can save over time just by being more aware of where your money goes.
That's so true. Hidden expenses can slowly drain your finances if you're not careful. I think it's important to regularly review your spending habits and make adjustments. Also, people often underestimate the power of consistency. If you keep making small, smart decisions, you can really turn your financial situation around. Even something simple like choosing to set limits on spending or deciding to hold back from unnecessary purchases can make a big difference over time. It's all about staying conscious and intentional.